the most powerful hypnotic technique that will instantly create confusion, put another person into a state of hypnosis. This is a secret technique that not a lot of people know and even less people teach. In this video today, I'm going to show you exactly how to apply this hypnotic technique to immediately get results. I was having a fascinating conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and she was saying that her brother's uncle's son was saying that when you can add quotes into your language, it creates this hypnotic confusion, which is kind of like a vehicle for creating trance. And within that vehicle, you can captivate and lead a person's imagination. He was also saying that when you can learn to stack your quotes, you can layer your quotes, you can add a quote on top of a quote, it creates this deeper sense of confusion, this dissociation effect. And this creates receptivity and suggestibility. And when a person becomes suggestible, they become open to your commands, to your trance words, to your hypnotic language. So this is the perfect vehicle to open up the frame for trance to occur. And he was saying it doesn't matter whether you can apply this technique immediately in your language. What matters is that you can start to practice adding quotes into your communication. Now, if you didn't pay close attention yet, you would have noticed that I started to already use quotes in how I was teaching you to use quotes. Let me go into more detail. I was reading an interesting book the other day, and the book was called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And in this book, he was saying that when you can pay close attention to when someone is sharing information with you that can really benefit you, that can really open you up and allow you to see things in a completely new light. That is when you want to take this information to heart and you want to apply this information into your life. He was also saying that in this book, there was an event that happened in his life where he met a special person. And when he was talking to this person was sharing with him some very powerful information, secret forms of hypnosis. And this person started to teach him this technique about how to stack your reality full of quotes, how to add quotes in your communication, and how to add a quote within a quote. And if you haven't already started to notice how I've been doing it in this video, then I'm going to tell you right now in detail how it works. When you can talk about something you were reading, or something someone was saying, or something you heard, you create quotes. And what quotes does, it separates you from being the person giving the information. This separation creates more suggestibility in the person who is listening to what you're saying. So we can talk about what someone said, something we read, something we watched on TV. And this is a vehicle for us, a hypnotic vehicle for us to embed commands, and we can start using our hypnotic language within this framework. That is the first level, when we just quote something we read, something we saw, something a friend said. So I could say, my brother was saying, when you can focus completely, there's the command. Or I can say, I was reading an interesting article the other day, and it was talking about the way people feel an incredible connection. There's the command. Or I can say, I was watching an interesting program on TV the other day about how people can pay close attention to every single word that you're hearing me say. I don't know if this is starting to have an effect on you, and if you're beginning to become more and more receptive. And the next level is when you start stacking your quotes. So it's a quote within a quote. And if you paid close attention, you would have noticed this is how I started my video. I was having an interesting conversation with a friend of mine, and she was saying that her brother's uncle's son was saying, when you can just stop. just notice the whole world disappears. Everything gets tuned out and you become completely focused to these words, to your body, and in this moment becoming fully present to these new learnings. So the way it works is this: we quote something, someone saying something we read, something we saw on TV, and then within that quote we layer a command. So we say, I don't know if you can imagine feeling a connection, that's a command. Don't know if you can imagine paying close attention, that's a command. I don't know if you can imagine feeling happiness. I don't know if you can imagine being able to connect with this beautiful part of yourself. So we want to weave in a quote, we want to stack a quote, we want to layer a trance word, which is imagine, wonder, ponder, picture, relate, and then a command, which we're commanding a person to do a specific action, to feel something, to see something, to hear something. The first step in this hypnosis is we want to create confusion, and that is what these quotes do. This is what happens when we stack quotes on top of quotes. It creates confusion. When a person gets confused, they become suggestible, they become receptive and open to what you're going to say next. So the next things you say are going to be hypnotic words. We're going to use trance words, we're going to use command language, which is a way to get these commands into the subconscious mind, because this momentary cause of confusion opens them up and they become super suggestible to what you're going to say next. It is always important to have an outcome in mind. Where are you going to direct this trance? Where are you going to direct the hypnosis? There's no point in creating hypnosis if you're not sure where you're going to direct it to and what is the outcome you want to achieve from the hypnosis. Because the outcome will be the context you will create, and the context will be the words that you actually use to guide a person's imagination and mind and thoughts to this outcome. The key to hypnosis is the art of captivating and leading a person's emotions and imagination. And these are just the tools we use to create this perfect scenario. You know what it's like when you learn something that truly inspires you? When I went to this conference, I was paying close attention to one of the speakers, and he was saying that in his career, one of the things he learned that was extremely powerful, and this is a hypnotic technique, was quotes. And he was saying that he was reading this book, and inside this book there was a character, and this character ended up going across the world to meet a spiritual teacher, and he traveled far and wide. And when he met this spiritual teacher started to tell him, and he said that when you can master using quotes in your language, and you can stack your quotes, it creates suggestibility. And I don't know if you can imagine yourself having a conversation to someone and using quotes in your conversation, and just noticing how a person goes into this temporary state of confusion. Because as soon as a person loses track of who's talking and what is really being said, if they lose track of the speaker, they go into a suggestible state immediately. And then you can start to give commands, you can direct their mind, direct their consciousness to a specific outcome, where you can make them feel, imagine, picture, wonder, or realize whatever it is that you desire. This is the power you hold in your voice. I wouldn't suggest you go out into the world and test out this information and get incredible results. Remember, the more you practice, the more it will seem normal in your language, but this is stuff people do all the time. They just don't realize it. Just think about it. How often has someone been saying to you, my brother's uncle's sister was saying, that when you can just stop and realize the power of what I'm actually saying, it will create this excitement to go into the world, to test it out, and you can imagine yourself getting incredible results. But don't take my word for it. Go out and test it out. Let me know in the comments below if you got value from this video. Please let me know after you test this out how it went. And if you want to take this hypnotic mastery further, check out my course. I go into extreme detail. It's one of the best courses you'll ever get on hypnotic language. Other than that, have a hypnotic day further.